When life gets unpredictable, preparation matters. In medicine, it's all about staying alert, ready for whatever comes through the door. On the road, it's no different. That's why Volvo designs vehicles to help anticipate risk, reduce harm, and protect lives. The Volvo XC90's advanced safety systems inspire confident decisions wherever the road takes you. The Volvo XC90, for life. Proud sponsor of the Pit Podcast. Learn more at volvocars.ca/safety.
So some of you may remember this, and it's Halloween, so I'll bring it up. In 1995, Fox Network, the Fox television network, they aired a TV special, Alien Autopsy, Fact or Fiction. Do you remember that? I think Jonathan Frakes was the host of the Alien Autopsy, Fact or Fiction. Boy, it was gruesome. And lo and behold, we have another gruesome autopsy to tell you about. It happened on Friday, and it was within the internal ranks of the Liberal Party of Quebec. Let's talk politics now, as we do every couple of weeks on a Monday, with David Heurtel, former Quebec Liberal cabinet minister and political analyst extraordinaire. David, welcome back.
Great segue, Elias.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that,
Yeah,
Alien?
I do, actually. I was wondering where you were going with that, but I remember.
All right. So, that's how my mind works, David. Okay, but
it was great.
before we get to the autopsy, I actually want to start off with this big story that from this morning, that Dominique Anglade apparently met with Marie-Claude Nichols, the MNA that was booted out of the party, I don't know, just a few days ago. So David, what does that tell you here, that she's trying, even though she was booted out of the party, Dominique Anglade is trying to get Marie-Claude Nichols back?
Yeah, well, it says a lot. And I think the Friday night autopsy, I mean, you're referring, of course, to the executive committee of the Liberal Party met with Dominique Anglade on Friday night at Liberal Party headquarters in Old Montreal to do the postmortem, exactly what you said, the autopsy of October 3rd and the worst defeat in party history. And I think it's part of what's going on. I think what this reported meeting with Marie-Claude Nichols this morning suggests is that Dominique Anglade's leadership is already in full crisis mode. The fact is that since the decision was made on Thursday, there's been a very, very strong reaction from rank and file Liberal members. Former Liberal MNA and former Charest and Couillard minister, former colleague of mine, Lise Thériault, came out in the French media, went on Paul Arcand's show Friday morning, directly criticizing Dominique Anglade for doing this. Uh-huh. Also, other members, other former MNAs, I'll talk about a little-known MNA, former MNA called Richard Merlini, who was a member from the South Shore when I was part of the Liberal government, who was a big-time supporter of Dominique Anglade when she ran for leadership, came out this morning in the French media saying that she has gone too far. So now we're no longer talking about anonymous people in Canadian press articles. We're talking about high-profile, recognizable members of the Liberal Party coming out very publicly. And same thing with the autopsy on Friday night. I mean, basically, it was like the reporters reported on it in La Presse today. It was like they were in the room. I mean, basically, the entire meeting leaked, Elias. So this means that Dominique Anglade is already in a position where she cannot sustain this decision. And there was a caucus meeting on Sunday. So yesterday, there was a special caucus meeting on this. So clearly, the caucus is not united behind this decision as well.
And it was almost like a warning. I'm so glad you brought up those comments from Richard Merlini, right? Because some of the comments were, plan your graceful exit right now. And it's almost like a warning, like, hey, you can leave really high right now and we'll be all very nice, or be prepared for something dirty and nasty.
Well, something's definitely happening. And when you have, I mean, again, Richard Merlini, not a lot of people know him, but I mean, this is the kind of guy where, this is the great soldier. You know what I mean? These are longtime liberal soldiers. They've continued. Even after he lost his reelection bid in 2018, he stayed a member. He stayed very active in Liberal politics, in the party, as a volunteer. So these are the kind of people that when they start saying there's a problem, from the Liberal perspective, you cannot ignore this. And so there's definitely a major problem here. And Dominique Anglade, I mean, she can't run away from it because the parliamentary session, the short session, won't start until November 29th. So she's got 4 more weeks of this. And already she's in turmoil right now of her own doing.
And then they'll get back on the 29th, and then they'll be on Christmas break before you know it, right? So, David, listen, CJAD 800 listeners, we have access to so many great political minds, right? And I'm just trying to think of this morning, So Tom Mulcair was on with Andrew Carter.
Yeah.
And, Tom says, listen, next year, right, because they'll do the short session this year, and then they'll come back in January or whenever it is. And then Dominique Anglade will get to, run with it and prove over the course of that session if she'll stick around. And then on the Big Five this morning, we had Robert Libman and Jimmy Zubris on. And both of them, their take was, no, this is done. There's not going to be an opportunity come next year to prove yourself. It's already over. So let me get your great mind on this. Dominique Anglade, does she have any runway to quote unquote prove herself, or is it game over?
At the end of the day, it's going to be about Dominique Anglade sitting down with Dominique Anglade. We're at a point right now where how much more do you want to take as a person? Because if she is reversing, let's go down this road where let's say she brings Marie-Claude back. There's going to be some sort of compromise. So that means her newly minted caucus president, Enrico Ciccone, is going to have to walk back the very strong statement that he made on Thursday. Think about that.
Yes, what a good point, David, right? Because Enrico Ciccone was so strong about that message.
So because he said, he did the big hockey analogy talking about the fact that, hey, if the coach says you're doing this, you got to be a team player, and that's it. We don't have the luxury of players doing whatever they want or just sitting on the bench. So now what's happening now is that Dominique's leadership right out of the gate, which should have been, if she wants to hang on, this should have been about renewal. This should have been about, okay, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna bring a new strategy, a new energy. We're gonna clean the slate. We're gonna try something new. We're gonna bring a new way of doing things. Now she's mired already. That means there's what happened over the last 3 days. The autopsy on Friday night, the caucus meeting yesterday, the media that's coming out, the fact that she's meeting with Marie-Claude Nichols, these are all signs that right now her leadership is being contested from within. And that means that while technically she can stay on until the leadership review, which doesn't have to take place for another year, the fact is that now she's already starting with 1 or even 2 strikes already against her, and it's going to be very hard to move forward, especially if the caucus isn't united behind her.
David, it's almost like the perfect Dominique Anglade story, right? To boot someone out of the caucus on a Thursday, and then on the Monday to meet with them, try them, get them back in. Yeah. That's another example where you got to make a decision and then stick with it. You can't keep going back and forth.
Well, it also you're absolutely right, but then what happened on Thursday to get to that extreme point? The fact is, shouldn't this Monday meeting have taken place maybe Thursday or Friday before booting her out and before, the autopsy? She must have known that these things were coming. And that goes to also another major point that is more about the inner workings, but still very important here. No senior advisors around Dominique Anglade. It's and all due respect to the team that's around her, when you look at the people around her right now, these are young, inexperienced hands, and Dominique Anglade herself is not a very experienced politician, let's face it. And the fact is that she is not being well advised, and herself, she doesn't have those political reflexes that could have, said, okay, we have a problem. Let's calm down. Let's play for time. Let's sit down. Let's let cooler heads prevail. Let's find a compromise. And now the way she's handled this, and it's at the end of the day, regardless who said what, it is her responsibility. The buck stops with her. And right now, here we go. We're basically, basically not even a month from the October 3rd debacle, and already more self-inflicted wounds that are signs that everything that happened during the campaign, that were a bunch of series of self-inflicted wounds, now are continuing. And the fact is that the caucus already seems not united behind her, and that's going to be the key if she's going to survive.
David, we have to leave it there, but I would say, like, if I'm Dominique Anglade, I don't want to go through the holidays with this stuff. You know what I mean? If I'm her, I want to enjoy my holidays, and I'm not so sure she can enjoy it if she stays at the helm right now. David, we'll talk again real soon. We'll hear you on Friday on the Big Five.
Always a pleasure, Elias. Thanks.
That's David Heurtel, former Quebec Liberal cabinet minister. So some nightmares in Liberal land going on.